Hello, welcome back to Heart Matters Living with Intention. It is the 25th of October, 2023, and I'm just providing another update since I last recorded, which is now back in December 2022. So overall, it's been a good few months, which is why I've not really needed to update. Skiing and being in the mountains was really great for the early part of the year, and yeah, everything was really smooth, fortunately. I got involved and I spent quite a lot of time in between skiing and with my clients, but running something called Morzine Solos and Friends, which is a real passion project around bringing the community together, and provided an amazing experience and a great time creating community for people that were either visiting for a few days up to living there for the season, or indeed living in Morzine all year round. So I'll link to that so you can take a look at that. And so that kept me really busy and was really, really enjoyable. Had a good break the summer, again, touring back and forth in the mountains. In April, I had a catch up with the doctors who looked at the electrics specifically related to my subcutaneous ICD. The feedback was, again, stable from them, and nothing specifically really needed from them from a follow-up perspective. So that's one of the teams at the moment that's gone to the wayside, as it were. But they also did an ultrasound of the heart that we'll then look at later on in the year with a follow-up, and that was in my most recent meeting. So overall, it was really stable as well over the summer. There's maybe a handful of days I can kind of count on less than one hand, perhaps the times where I felt my breathing was really difficult, and it was really around whether it be pollution or the kind of humidity. Specifically, I was in Athens as well for a few days, and then off the coast, some of the islands there, that was also kind of made it quite difficult to breathe. And again, that sense of awareness that day to day, generally, I feel stable and fine, but then it's that reminder every so often that there is something going on that's a bit more untoward, that I need to be perhaps a bit more concerned about. But I was able to do everything that I wanted to do over the summer, and the decision whether or not to go on the heart transplant list, it still feels very much in my hands. But I keep telling myself and other people, if there are too many days in a row where I can't do the things that I want to do, then that's when I'll go on the list. And this summer, definitely, that wasn't the case. There were some great times and moments and very enjoyable kind of activities and things that I was doing, from swimming and paddleboarding and playing tennis. Very much the social side of tennis versus competitively, but again, very, very enjoyable. I was then just on Friday coming back to most recently, so on the 20th of October 2023, seeing my doctor in London in Barts. We had a catch up. Interestingly, she said to me something that I thought I'd share, just about my attitude and approach. And she said to me, that she will think about things a bit differently from when she first met me, and can see how I'm approaching life, and very much seeing things, instead of the glass being half empty, definitely seeing the glass half full, which I took very much as a compliment. And it was great to hear her share her thoughts and reflections about my journey and how I'm approaching things. So I thought that was very positive to share. On the other side of that, though, interestingly, she pulled up the video of the ultrasound that they did in April. And it's curious because each time, again, it was an appointment, and I've shared earlier about making sure you go to appointments with people. This one, I didn't go with someone. I made the decision. It was a local appointment and it wasn't necessary. I think, again, in hindsight, I should have really gone with someone. And that was partly because in the meeting, she brought up this image on the screen of the ultrasound, and it showed my heart. She explained, like, the heart really should be, and you want it's kind of ringing of a towel. So it goes down, it goes in and out and up and down, just like when you're wringing a towel, there's that movement. So the pump kind of goes like this. And instead you could see my heart going across, but not on the up and down axis. So it was concerning for her, and she kind of, I don't know if she realizes she's doing this, but how she comes across externally for me is perhaps quite concerning. And when I said I was playing tennis, she kind of looked, how much tennis, is that a good idea? And very much kind of questioning the importance of being active, but also listening to my body and not overexerting myself, and very much kind of concern about my heart, how it's functioning, and the importance of my next checkup, again, at Papworth, with a view that the transplant and how my heart is reacting or not functioning in the way that it should means that there's still a concern. And I tell myself, look, nothing's changed from Thursday or before I go into this appointment. Nothing has materially changed. And yet the last few days, I've definitely felt kind of a sadness and an overwhelm about the reality that there is, again, a problem and this confrontation with the fact that it's not how it should be and the prospect of a heart transplant at some stage. And it's also curious, the last few days I've realized when they diagnosed me in 2017 and then in January 2018 and the transplant assessment, my first transplant assessment in April 2018, they were very much like a transplant is on the cards in the next 2 to 5 years. And now we're kind of outside of that 2 to 5 year range. So we're going into year 6. And what does that mean? And what does that look like? And this, I guess, the oscillation of anxiety of living life and being in the moment. And I think if I look back over the last few years, really living intentionally, doing things that I really want to do, working with my clients in the way that I want to work, traveling and exploring all the things I want to do. And at the same time, in the background, knowing this kind of ticking time bomb, as it were, that something is going to happen at some stage that means the days won't be as good as they are now, and I will need to go on the transplant list. So I've definitely been battling with that over the last few days, and been quite tearful and emotional and upset about things because of the nature and the way it's just so confrontational that there is, again, seeing the scan and being kind of shown again the challenges and the restrictions that the heart has and the reality at some stage the transplant will be needed. And so ultimately I just need to do what I can and day by day and celebrate and feel grateful for everything that I can do and try and focus. Again, we've spoken about this before, focus on what you can do, not what you can't, which for the moment is, as I can do many things and everything that I want to be doing. And at the same time, this awareness that the next appointment at Papworth will hopefully again be positive, with a view of coming back again in 6 to 12 months' time. But at the same time, this fear of concern, of overwhelm that, let's hope that they say those things, but at some stage, knowing that, again, from everything they've said, that I will have to have the transplant at some stage. So for now, on the one hand, there's no real news or update, but then on the other hand, this sense of fear and overwhelm and upset around the reality that I'm facing. And I just wanted to update that in update today. The other thing today was on the back of my meeting, actually, and being back in London for a while, I decided to host a dinner for Friday night for 10 people. And I'm sharing it in the context of my health condition that despite having the doctor's appointment in the morning, it was such a healthy experience to be cooking for other people, and mindfulness. And I think I may have mentioned this before, but the idea of finding something that helps you be in the moment and be intentional and be specific without having to worry about anything else. And for me, cooking really does that. So I ended up starting to cook. I did the prep a few days before, got a home delivery of food on the Wednesday, cooked on Thursday night, and made a whole host of things, from a butternut squash and coconut soup to roast chicken, a vegetable tagine, because had some vegetarians also with us. So it was a really amazing, submersive experience where I just got behind that. And it was a real great distraction, to be honest, from before the appointment, but also after the appointment, not letting myself get wrapped up in what the doctor ultimately said and where I was at, but this focus of needing and wanting to deliver a great environment, a great experience for Friday night. And the feedback was overwhelmingly positive and successful, and people really enjoyed the evening, and I really enjoyed kind of that hosting. And there was definitely a little bit of feeling a couple of days later that kind of it really hit me, I guess, the appointment and what was said in it. But I feel like there was a positive distraction, the cooking. So again, an advice or a bit about something, just living in the moment and being intentional is also contributing to other people and creating an experience. It's all, I'm going to say, a recipe, excuse the pun, but a recipe to distract yourself from perhaps some more confronting feelings or concerns. And it's important to give those feelings credit and acknowledgement where they are and not suppressing them, but at the same time having tools or coping mechanisms. And definitely cooking for me in the past and most recently again has been a really great experience. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll update you again another time soon. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out the British Heart Foundation, Cardiomyopathy UK and Save 9 Lives for more information. Why not comment on the video, tell me what you think or ask a question, and subscribe to the channel to continue to follow my journey.